Hello and welcome to Dil Ki Recipes. I'm Dr. Shiza Mohsin, relationship expert and coach, and your virtual coach on life and relationships on your favorite social media platform. Dil Ki Recipes brings balanced, professional, research-based, and culturally informed information to support you in your Desi relationships. So if you identify as a Desi, with cultural roots in Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, and surrounding areas, and are trying to meet your life and relationship needs and desires while embracing some beautiful elements of your cultural heritage, Dil Ki Recipes is for you. My goal is to bring you useful and relevant insight and sanity checks, of course, we need those, about your bicultural identity. Through these videos, reels, podcasts, whatever your preferred way of consuming this information is, the goal is for you to know that you're not alone in this journey. All right, let's jump in. Today's topic is New Year's resolutions. So happy New Year to everybody who is listening. And with this new year, a lot of times people feel like this is a new chapter. This is going to be the beginning of something beautiful that we become hopeful for. And so it's really important to make sure as we are delving into that space called New Year resolutions, that we're truly giving ourselves this opportunity where they actually end up being things that will work, that will actually help you get to the goals that you're hoping for. And then, of course, that you experience a lot of success as you go through this year. I'm going to be talking mostly in English and some in Urdu, so you can share this with loved ones who might be able to benefit from setting up a New Year's resolution to really try and get to all those goals and have a much higher chance of success. So I have picked 5 things that are going to be important for you to keep in mind as you are setting these New Year resolution goals for yourself. And hopefully these 5 things will help you get to a lot of success with your goals. Let's begin. When we talk about New Year's resolutions, there are some things that just jump right out of our heads as we are deciding for those goals. So guess what those typical goals are for most people? Yes, money, anything related to financial goals, big one. I'm going to make this much money. I'm going to make more money. I'm going to save money. I am going to save money for very big life-altering decisions like buying a home, etc. So money-related goals come up for us. Second, from what I'm exposed to that shows up a lot is health and weight. I'm going to lose 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 50 pounds, whatever it is that I need to lose. I'm going to be healthy. I'm going to go to the gym 5 days a week. Lots of health and weight-related goals also come up. For those of us more focused on the relationship elements of life, relationship-related goals. I'm going to find my partner this year. I'm going to get married this year. I will make sure that I do something different. And actually, for a small percentage, it's also, I want to see if I want to stay in this relationship this year or not. So those are some of those goals. Then there are career goals. I need to find a new job this year. I need to switch what I do for work, or I need to get into this college, or I need to get into this professional school, whether it's law school, med school, PA school, nursing school, whatever it is that you're trying to pursue in terms of goals. So there is a lot of pressure, but excitement at this stage of the year. And so what I thought was that I'll bring to your attention 4 or 5 things, 5 things to be exact, in when you are deciding to choose working on goals And then also things to consider when it comes to trying to implement changes in your life that will help you achieve those goals. All right, so here goes. The number one thing that I wanted to share with you is this idea of what is called wellness. So when you are setting goals, it's really important for you to think of overall wellness elements that really make us balanced in our life. And so there are certain ideas around wellness that we have to keep in mind as we are looking at what will make us feel relaxed, what will make us feel happy, what will make us feel like we are living a good life. And many of the goals that I had mentioned earlier are included in that. So I will be talking about what is called the Wheel of Wellness. If you want to Google that, you'll find many models of the Wheel of Wellness. The one that I like has about 8 elements in it, and I'm going to quickly go over that list with you. Feel free to Google Wheel of Wellness and you will see these elements. And I would love for you to not just set a goal, but see how you're doing in that area. Is that an area where you need to do more work? Is that an area that if you do a little bit of work, you will feel really better? So consider those as you are deciding on the goals that you are setting. So meaning what you want to do. All right. The first element of wellness that I will touch on is physical health. So look at whether there's an opportunity or a goal that you can add to your goals for this year when it comes to having a good diet, exercise habits, how much time you spend in working out or physical activity, what is something you want to pay attention to as it relates to your physical health. Did you get your annual physical done? Did you get your blood work done? Are you happy with your level of physical health? So that's something definitely that attributes to your wellness as you are setting up New Year's resolutions. So do definitely look for a health goal, whatever it is, tiny, making sure that there's presence of the importance of your physical health. The second one that I will talk about is mental health. Thinking about your mental health, how you manage anxiety. You might be overwhelmed with certain things. What are you doing in order to express gratitude that will make you feel like there are good things happening in life as well? What are your relationships like? How are you coping on a daily basis? So checking in with your mental health and putting in a goal there for yourself so you feel more relaxed and at peace is going to be another element that you might want to consider when you are looking at your New Year's resolutions. The third one I want to talk about is environment. A lot of times people don't pay attention to it as much as the amount of joy they could receive when they pay attention to it. What does that mean? How green is your environment? How clean is your environment? What is your bedroom, place where you sleep, state of your home, organization looking like when it comes to finding things, looking for things, a clean space? How much are you hoarding? A lot of people talk to me about their closets and how they struggle with letting go of clothes that either don't fit them or they feel that they will be useful at some point of time in a day. So when you are looking at environmental goals, just even from a green planet perspective, how much are you recycling? Are you paying attention to carbon emissions or whatever it is that your environmental goal is, whether it is to make your neighborhood clean, your house clean, a lot of things about where you are and how you exist have an impact on your mood, how well you do in a day. When you are in a clean, organized environment, you feel more productive, you feel more happy. So definitely pay attention to that goal. Financial goals. Financial wellness is a big element of your worry. It actually impacts mental health as well as physical health. So looking at your financial health and seeing what you need to put on that New Year's resolution sheet in terms of your financial health. What is your relationship with money? How do you spend? How do you save? How do you invest? How much debt do you have? What is the plan of getting rid of it? How much are you and what are you doing for your retirement? Children's colleges, all kinds of financial elements such as home buying, etc. So you want to definitely pay attention to those elements. in life as you're looking at those New Year's resolutions. Another element of wellness that you want to look at is your relationships. Your relationships where you feel nurtured, supported, clear and open communications with family members, with friends. What are you hoping to change? What are some relationships that are feeling heavy? New Year's resolutions can include working on a relationship, on a marriage, on your relationship with a parent or sibling or a friend. You definitely can look at those, because remember, we're social beings and our relationships impact our overall wellness. So really important to definitely check on how we're doing as far as our relationships are concerned. The next one that I would like to talk about is your intellectual space, learning and growth. Very important. So you definitely want to think about how you are learning, what is the area of intellectual well-being, goals for training, goals for learning a new skill. When we learn new things, it creates more connections in your brain that make you smarter, that help your memory. Lots of new information that is consumed by the brain makes it healthy. So definitely think of what you want to work on, what you want to study about, etc. So that's another goal. Another wellness goal to consider is a goal for spirituality, faith. It definitely has proven to be a big, big source of mental well-being. Studies show that if you have faith or source or anything that you believe in the universe that is bigger than yourself, it actually helps lower anxiety. So you want to recheck and see what you want to do when it comes to prayer or meditation or whatever it is that speaks to you as far as your spiritual and your soul feeding goes. Very, very important elements. And of course, there are many others, but I will stop at that just to give you an idea. And of course, when you research Wellness Wheel, you will find elements that you will find useful, and if you may want to add them to your list of what is important. So the second thing, of course, we discussed what is important in terms of elements of your life that may need more attention when it comes to your New Year's resolution. I would also want you to pay attention to who is important. So the second element of New Year's resolutions that I would like you to consider are all the different people that create roles in your life, and then the goals that you want to have for those relationships. So who is important? It could be your relationship with your spouse, your relationship with your parents, your relationship with your children, your role as a spouse, your role as a parent, your role as a sister or a daughter or a son or a son-in-law. And what does that entail? What would be the goal in those roles that you show up in? Your role as a professional in your workspace. All of those roles define us in many ways. And so noticing when we are creating those New Year resolutions and goals, all the roles that we're existing in and what we need to do for those roles would be the second thing I would like you to consider. The third thing that I would like you to think about is what is a very important component that a lot of us forget, and that is time. So the thought behind time, I would love for you to Google. It's one of many tools, and there's so many wonderful books written on time management, but it's the concept of the clock and the compass. Stephen Covey had written about it decades ago. The clock is watching the time and what we are spending our time doing. What is the best utilization of that time? And the compass is the values that guide how we make those decisions of spending time. So those definitely are questions that you want to consider in terms of how you spend time. So the third element for New Year's resolutions that I would like you to notice and start noticing is, how are you spending your time? Because that is going to give you a lot of insight in terms of how you are making decisions to spend time. And there's an interdependence between what is important and how you allot time to it. So if you are just working in crisis mode, I will hear from a lot of clients that they're just responding to everything that's thrown at them. And that means everything in life feels urgent. And by the end of the day, you are completely exhausted. So you are not spending intentional time meeting the goals that you really want to meet. And so, knowing the difference between what is urgent and not urgent, what is important and not important, is very, very critical for our well being and how effective and successful we feel. So, for example, idea of building long-term relationships with people, the idea of building long-term solutions and systems in our organization, the idea of improving your health, the idea of building your dream or your career or finding your life partner, they are very important decisions. They may not be urgent. And so putting them off might be a very easy thing to do. But then you're thinking, oh my God, I have no time to do these things that are so critical and they are life altering. So understanding how you're spending your time is really, really an important consideration. Many people are sharing with me now that they end up touching social media, and then before they know it, it's been a couple of hours and there was no workout that came in, there was no learning that happened, there was all these things that they were supposed to do, and they didn't end up doing that because they spent a lot of time on that social media just consuming it. So, when are you the time that you are allotting yourself to when you are maybe listening to this podcast? Are you doing that while you're driving? Are you doing that while you are working out or on the treadmill? So being constructive when how creatively you're utilizing time is going to be a big tool and resource that you want to pay attention to. So the fourth element of New Year's resolutions that I would like you to consider and think about is the values that are feeding the decisions that you make in terms of how you prioritize time. So, for example, in the Desi family system, our family is everything. So, a lot of times, if you're going for a workout and a family member calls that they need help to do something, it's so easy for you to drop whatever you are doing and go and help this family member. But over time, if you continue doing that all the time, you are doing two things. You're training other people how to treat you. And right now, that training would mean that your goals are not as important. And I'm not telling you to not pay attention to your relationships, but having some balance in that space and having some balance and boundary in that value so you can also take care of yourself and make it a win-win situation is really important. What I want to do and how I end up spending my time. So, what is the value that is feeding how you are spending your time? Critical things that we want to understand, behaviors that we dislike from others, but we end up doing as well. Values that we hold, but they're not aligning with our actions. So, how is that showing up in our life? Very important, right? So, thinking about all those tiny, tiny values that you may notice are feeding your decisions and may not be serving you well is an important thing to consider. So, the final element I want you to notice about making sure that you are setting up your New Year's resolution for success is noticing habits that are coming in your way of being successful. What is it that you are doing that is really not serving you well? What are those negative habits that are really coming in your way to be successful? A great book that I would like to recommend you consider reading is called Atomic Habits. It is a wonderful book that tells you how to create a good habit and then also how to break a bad one. So there are lots of habits because remember, all of us get handed the same amount of time. And what we do with it a lot of times influences how successful we are, how efficient we are, how our outcomes are positive in terms of what we need to accomplish. So I want to summarize what you want to do is consider 5 things. What do you want to do? What is important? Who do you want to emphasize in your life? Who is important? All those roles and goals. The third thing is the element of time and how you're spending it. Notice it, how you prioritize time management. The fourth one being the values. Notice the value that's feeding how you are spending time and see if there's an opportunity to modify that value. And the fifth thing to consider as you are going through this is to notice the habits that are coming in your way of being successful. All right. Good luck. I am sure you are going to be very successful. And I only wish you the best in setting these goals after learning about or being reminded of some of these important elements, which is why learning is really important, and learning better ways of communicating in your relationships is important. So that's all I have for now. Some reminders for you before I thank you for joining me is every situation is different. Your issues cannot be resolved overnight. The most important things that need to change are you yourself, your approach, your behavior, your actions, and your thinking. When you know better, you do better. So keep learning, seek therapy if you can, and make sure that you are kind to yourself and those around you. It helps if you remember something to be grateful for, and when you intentionally plan to find a reason to laugh. I hope you will continue joining me and learning and growing with me. Please remember to subscribe and follow me on your favorite social media platform. Wishing you peace and looking forward to talking to you soon.